In this video, I'm going to show you how to become a better leader for your dog. I believe that you and your dog are a team, and it's your responsibility to become the leader of that team because your dog is a dog, and they don't know how to behave in our human world. They don't understand our human standards and expectations because they're animals. And it's your responsibility as their owner to lead them through our human world, to teach them how to behave successfully in our human world. So in this video, I want to give you 7 leadership principles that you can take away and apply with your dog at home to become the leader your dog needs you to be. So let's get started with leadership principle number 1. Extreme ownership. Great leaders take extreme ownership for everything in their area of control. And this doesn't just include their own actions. It also includes the actions of those on their team. Whenever there's a mistake, whenever there's a problem, whenever something goes wrong, a great leader is not looking to pin the blame on others. They're not looking to make excuses for why this happened. A great leader takes full responsibility for it and immediately works to find solutions. So let me give you a dog training example. Let's say you had a real long day at work. You're tired, you're exhausted. You come home and you find that your dog destroyed your most expensive, favorite pair of shoes, and they peed on the couch. You take them out on the walk and they see that reactive dog across the street and they lunge at them and it catches you off guard and you slip and you fall and you scrape up your arm and you bruise your hip. You come home and you're angry, you're frustrated, you're upset, and that finger of blame comes out. Whose fault is this? Many people will point this finger at the dog. It's their fault. They're responsible. They did this. They should have known better. They point it to other people. It's my wife's fault. I told her to pick up the shoes before she left the house and she didn't. It's her fault. It's my neighbor's fault. The only reason my dog lunges is because their dog is reactive. They need to train their dog. Their fault. They blame the past. It's the previous home they came from. He's definitely abused, and that's why my dog is like that. That's why you have these problems. It's their fault. It's that one owner who let his dog off a leash, who attacked my dog when he was a puppy. That's why we have these problems. It's their fault. Blame, 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 blame. What you have to understand about the finger of blame is wherever you point it is where the power goes. You point it to the past has power over you today. You point it to other people, those other people have power over you today. And people love to point this finger because it feels good in the moment. It provides this immediate emotional relief. It gives you a scapegoat. It gives you something else or someone else to be angry at. It protects your pride. It protects your ego. But your problems don't get solved because those things and those people you're pointing the finger at don't care about your problems. Your problems are your problems. And great leaders, the best dog owners I've ever worked with, take extreme ownership of these problems. When they come home, they see the dog destroy the shoes. My fault. Their dog lunges at that dog across the street. My fault. They take the finger of blame and they point it at themselves. Those 2 words, my fault, change everything. It changes everything. You go from being this helpless victim that's doomed to your current circumstances and it's everybody else's fault except mine, there's nothing I can do about it, to all of a sudden now being in a position of power, being in a position to create real change and make real progress and create real solutions. What did I do to contribute to this problem? What things could I do differently next time? What things do I not know? Knowing what I know now, how would I handle this situation differently? How can I change? Now you're solution oriented. Now, you see, it changed, just a simple mindset shift. And I'll give you guys action items as I go through this video. The action item for this one is very simple. 2 words, my fault. As you're training your dog, whenever you encounter those situations where you feel that finger of blame wanting to come out, feel that temptation to be angry at the dog or these other people or the past or whatever, catch yourself. Point that finger at yourself. My fault. This is my responsibility. No one else's. I am responsible for this. Because when you do that, when you're able to expand your area of control, when you bring more things, when you take ownership, bring more things under your control, you become more powerful. There's more things you can change. There's more things you can do. There's more ways you can improve. Extreme ownership. That's principle number one. Without this, nothing else matters. So that's principle number one. And some of you might be thinking like, Miles, this sounds a little extreme. You know, my dog really was attacked by that other dog when he was a puppy. You're telling me that's my fault? And I'm saying, yeah. Because here's the thing. Even if that thing wasn't your fault, it is your problem. And so by blaming other things or other people for that experience, how does that serve you in any way? How does it help you today? Why not take full ownership of it? Why not bring it in your area of control? Why not? Why not ask yourself, what things did I do to contribute to that? How could I prevent this from happening in the future? Knowing what I know now, how would I handle this situation differently in the moment? Why not? At least for me, like the more I'm able to take ownership of everything in dog training, in business, in life, the faster I'm able to make progress because you have more things that are under your control now. It's such a simple mindset shift, but it's everything. That is the first leadership principle. Leadership principle number 2. A clear vision. I remember when I first moved out of my parents' house into an apartment in downtown Seattle, and I knew I wanted a dog, I knew I wanted a border collie, and before I even got the dog, Orbit, my current dog, I was envisioning the life I was gonna live with him. I was envisioning being able to walk off leash in downtown Seattle. I was envisioning being able to go on a hike and I see some people up ahead and I can go down and then boom, he just downs and they can just walk right past. I was envisioning being able to go to a park on a busy day, people, dogs, kids out. I can throw that frisbee, he runs after, he catches it, and he brings it right back, ignoring all those distractions. I was envisioning this before I even had the dog. That is a vision. And great leaders have a clear vision for what they're trying to achieve. And they align the team towards that vision, towards that future that's exciting, that they can accomplish together as a team. And I believe it's your responsibility as the leader of the team to come in with that vision. I find that a lot of dog owners don't have a vision. They don't. They are just living day to day. They go on the same walks. They walk down the same streets. Their dog reacts to the same dogs. They have the same problems day after day after day. Nothing changes. They don't have any goals. They don't have any ambition. They don't have a vision. They're just sort of drifting through life aimlessly. Life is just happening at them and they're just sort of along with it, just coasting through. And in my opinion, it's your duty as the leader to come in with that vision. And here's the thing with the vision, all right? The vision is something that is mutually beneficial for everyone on the team. Okay? Sometimes I talk to dog owners and I'm like, what's your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And they're like, I just want to fix my dog's reactivity. I'm like, okay, what else? What else? Oh, I just want to fix that. That's it. I'd also like him to, come when I call him. That's it. Your vision is just to fix problems with your teammate? That's your goal? I would hate to be on your team. You see, the vision has to be something that's exciting, that you look forward to, that your team can look forward to. It's mutually beneficial for everyone on the team. And like for me, it was being able to play Frisbee in a busy environment, to be able to walk off leash in distracting places. For you, it might be going on running that marathon with your dog, going on hikes on the weekend, being able to go paddleboarding together in the lake in the summer, like whatever it is, something exciting that you're looking forward to doing, something that is fun for you and the dog to achieve. That's the vision. And let's set a clear action item for this one. Set a goal. All right, your goal should be clear and achievable. So if you're inside of our program, your goal is simple. At the top, and you can write this out right now. Like you can buy a whiteboard, put it on your wall. You can have a training journal. Write it down though. Fido will be off-leash trained by, and then select a date. All right, put a date, a specific date that it happens by. If you're inside the program and you're going through it, on the aggressive side, it would be like 2 months, and on the conservative side, it would be like 6 months. So select a date in between 2 to 6 months and put it right there, okay? Fido will be off-leash trained by date. The deadline is important because that's what makes it a goal. A goal has a deadline, all right? So set that deadline. Like I remember when I was in the middle of training Orbit and I had a whiteboard on my wall in downtown Seattle, just like this. At the top, Orbit will be off-leash trained by. I had a list of all the things I need to accomplish with him. I had a list of all the environments we need to train in, ranked by distraction level. I had a weekly plan of everything I need to do, broken down day by day by day, what I'm gonna do in that day, what time, where I'm gonna do it at. And I would adjust this at the end of every day to reflect on it and adjust the plan to achieve this goal. That's the difference between a goal and a dream. A dream is something that you hope will happen. You would like for it to happen, but you don't know when or if it will even happen at all. A goal has a deadline and a plan. All right, so set a goal. It should be clear and achievable. If you're in the program, Fido will be off-leash trained by deadline. That's your goal. And then think of, in that vision piece of it, what will you be able to do as a result of that? What do you look forward to doing? Write that out. Envision that. Envision that life you could be living with the dog. Something fun, something exciting that you're working towards. All right, so that's leadership principle number 2, a clear vision. Number 3, relentless determination. And I'll add another one in here too. And adaptability. All right? Great leaders are relentless in the pursuit of their vision. Relentless. There is a hunger, there is a need, there is a burning desire behind that. Like the best dog owners I've ever worked with have this, it's clear, like it is different. This is not a want like it is for most people. For most people, they just kind of like, they want this. You know, it'd be nice if this happened. It'd be nice. For these people, it is a need. This is happening. This must happen. This is not an option. This is not negotiable. This is happening. It is my responsibility as an owner to make this happen. It is different. It is a different level of commitment, a different level of resolve that these great leaders and great dog owners have. It is relentless. There is nothing that could stop these people from achieving this goal. Nothing. There is nothing, no obstacle you could put in the way of them. They'll overcome everything on the way to that. Like, It's so easy to tell like when someone doesn't actually want it, right? When someone has this vision and it's kind of like, they want it to happen, you can spot this immediately. Because every little thing that stands in their way, even though it's just the smallest little pebble, it becomes this giant boulder that they cannot get past, and this is the reason why they're gonna fail, and there's nothing they can do about it, and oh, I give up on my goals. This is the reason why I'm gonna fail. You see? Every little thing gets in their way. My dog is, he's this special breed, and oh, he's over 6 years old. Is he still gonna learn anything? How much time is this gonna take? Oh, I'm real busy with work right now. And like all of these excuses just start popping up. The best owners, the best leaders, it's different. I think you understand kind of what I'm trying to explain here, but the level of resolve is just different. This is not a want, it's a need. They need this to happen. That's the difference. And because of that relentless determination to achieve their goals, they are also highly adaptable. They're willing to change. They're willing to try new things. They're willing to embrace the unknown, try new things, experiment, do things that are uncomfortable. They're willing to do that. They're flexible because they will achieve this at all costs, by any means necessary. That's the difference. Like I remember when I was first training Orbit, and I had that vision that I had for him, and I started training him. And I remember right when he was around like 6 months old, up to that point, I was doing all positive reinforcement only training, just because I thought I didn't know any better. I just thought that was the right thing I should do. That was the thing I should be doing. And it became immediately evident to me that what I was currently doing was not going to help me achieve my goals. I was not getting there. He was reactive, he wasn't listening, around distractions, I couldn't control his behavior around other dogs or around other people. Everything would fall apart, despite me training every single day. It became very clear, okay, what I'm doing right now isn't gonna help me achieve my goals. There's something I don't know, because I know these goals are possible. I know they are, I've seen it. But what I'm doing right now isn't helping me get there. And so I have to venture out into the unknown and do things that are uncomfortable. This is where I got into balance training. I started watching a bunch of balance trainers on YouTube. And in the beginning, it made me very uncomfortable. I was afraid to use a prong collar. I was afraid to use an e-collar. Oh my God, I thought those were just like terrible medieval tools that only animal abusers use. Like that's literally what I thought. But I went into it anyways. I was adaptable and flexible enough anyways to be open to that new knowledge, these new things, these new tools, and I was open and receptive to the information that these people were presenting. Because I could see, hold on, I had this image of how these tools were and how these training methods were used, but I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at their dogs, and I'm looking at their training, and hold on. This isn't matching up with how I thought it was. But you see, you have to be adaptable in that regard. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to try new things. You can't allow your own fears or your own emotions to get in the way of achieving your goals. That's a part of growth. That's what's required. All right, so relentless determination and adaptability. The action item I have here, this is kind of a hard one to find an action item for, but if I had to kind of really lay it out here, I would say, if I look at all of the best owners I've worked with who have this just deep resolve to achieve their goals, I would say it comes from two places. Twist the knife and envision the future. I think I think for many people, at least the dog owners that I've worked with, and for me, just personally, to achieve this vision, to get them to take action, what creates that deep, burning resolve is either they are motivated by pain in their current situation. It's so painful, like they cannot keep living like this. Something needs to change. They need to fix this. They cannot go the next 10 years living like this. And they also have this thing that they're striving for, this vision that they're trying to achieve. And these are different, right? One is more pain motivated, like your current circumstances, something you're running away from. And then the vision is something you're running towards, some life you'd want to live, something you want to achieve. And I think both are different fuel sources, if you want to think about it like that. And in the beginning, I think what gets a lot of people to take action is the pain of their current circumstances. And so if you want to kind of intensify this, stick the knife in and twist it. Think to yourself, how bad would it be to continue living like you're currently living for the next 10 years? How much worse would this be? Just extend it out. Think about, if you want to get real, just deep with it, think about how you would feel not being the owner that your dog needs you to be throughout their entire life, their one short life that they have on this earth, not being the best owner, not being the owner you could have been. Play that out. Just stick in it and just twist it. And that can get you to immediately just need to take action. And then the second half of that is envision the future. Think about the life you could be living, the things you could be doing, the experiences you could have with your dog, the life you could give them. That dream, that vision that you have, envision it, play it in your mind, imagine it vividly. What would that feel like? And I think tapping into both fuel sources can be useful, like in the beginning. In the beginning, the pain fuel source can be very potent. And I think that's what gets a lot of people just to start in the first place. So twist it. But I think in the long term, it's probably best to have that long-term vision, that life you're trying to accomplish. That, I think it's a more sustainable and cleaner fuel source to burn. But use both to your advantage, especially in the beginning. So that's the action item there. Twist the knife and envision the future. Number 4. Oh, this is a good one. Decisive. Great leaders are decisive, even in the face of uncertainty. They're able to make decisions. And as you're going through your training journey, you're training your dog and you're confronting your ignorance head on, and you are expanding the frontiers of your knowledge. You're venturing into the unknown. You're venturing into the darkness. And you have to get comfortable operating in that space of uncertainty. So let me give you an example. Like if you're inside the program, for instance, and you have a reactive dog and you're going through our reactivity course, you're looking at the plan, you're looking at the 8-step framework, you're studying the video lessons, you're preparing. If this happens, I do this. If this happens, I do this. You're understanding everything on a theoretical level. You see the examples applied, and you're creating this mental map in your mind about how things are going to go. I'm showing you the map. You're studying it. You're creating this image in your mind. But when you go out and you set up your first reactivity session and you're in the moment, reality in front of you isn't going to look exactly like that map that you have in your mind. The map is not the same as the territory that you're in. The map is an abstraction. You haven't experienced this terrain before. You haven't been in this space before. It feels a lot different. And even though you've prepared, you still, in that moment, are in the darkness. You can't see ahead of you. The only spot you can see is where you currently stand. That's the only spot that's illuminated. And if you look behind you, you can see the path that you walk to get to that point. That's all illuminated too, but all around it is darkness. All in front of you is darkness. You have this map, but you don't know where to step. In the moment, you're like, wait, this, is it that? Should I be correcting this behavior? Should I be rewarding this? Should I do that? Should I do this? And you have those thoughts. You're second guessing yourself. You don't know what course of action to take. You see? And that's uncertainty. That's a part of the process. You have to be comfortable as the leader. Well, not comfortable. You have to be willing to take that step into the darkness. Take that step to commit to it, to lead your team through that uncertainty, commit to a course of action, and then reflect on it. How did that go? Was this the right call or the wrong call? Is there something else I should have done? Knowing what I know now, should I do something differently next time? See, you're reflecting on it. So here, this decisiveness piece, this is a skill that you'll have to develop throughout the training. It's difficult. It's hard. A lot of people get scared in these moments because they're scared of making a mistake, making the wrong choice, not being the leader their dog needs them to be. And it's a hard process, but you have to go through it to learn it. So here are 3 things that you can remember to be more decisive in those moments. So prepare, commit, and reflect. So prepare ahead of time, before you are doing that first session, for example. Prepare as much as you can ahead of time. Prepare. Get that map in your mind. Study it. Study it. Run through scenarios. If this happens, I do this. If this happens, I do this. You're prepared. Commit in the moment, even though the territory isn't matching up with the map in your mind. Commit to a course of action, even though you're afraid and you're uncertain and you don't know if this is the right call. Commit to a course of action. You run into trouble when you go the half step, when you half commit to one course and half commit to the other. That's where you run into trouble. As the leader, you have to commit to a path, lead your team through that uncertainty, stand, and then reflect. Reflect on this decision that you made. Was this the right call? Should you have done something differently? What are you going to do differently next time? Or was this the right call? Did you make the right choice? Aha. You see? And then you commit to the next step and the next step. And you're going to make mistakes as you go through that process. You're going to. That's the burden of leadership. You don't know what the best course of action is, and you're going to make mistakes. And you as the leader need to recognize that's a part of the job. When you do make a mistake, you take extreme ownership of it. This was the wrong call. This is my fault. I am going to do something differently next time. What do I learn from this? How am I going to prevent this from happening again in the future? You take that ownership of it and you improve, and you take the next step and the next step and the next step. And you venture through that darkness. And when you look back, you can see the path you took. You can see the kind of routes you went down that you double checked and went back this way. You realize that was the wrong way. You go this way now. You course correct. That's what it looks like, and that's what it feels like. It's difficult to go through this, but that's something you'll have to do as a leader. So that's the action items: prepare, commit, reflect. Number 5. crystal clear communication. Great leaders are highly effective communicators. They're able to communicate to their team the vision. They're able to communicate instructions to the team, what they need them to do, when they need them to do it, how they need them to do it. They're able to communicate expectations that they have of their team. They're able to set boundaries for their team, what things are allowed and what things absolutely are not allowed. And in dog training, it's all of those things. It's all of the same stuff. Like the action item here, crystal clear communication, is well, if you're inside of our program, it would be just get them off-leash trained. Because if you complete blueprint and you're able to walk your dog off leash, in public, around distractions, extreme control, you can have your dog be free, you can make the control immediately. You have that level of control of your dog, your communication is next level. It is next level. You can communicate with the dog just verbally. You've gone through all of the necessary steps to get to that point. You've developed your communication system with the dog methodically to get to that outcome. That is a testament of it. So for this, it's a very simple one. Just get them fully off-leash trained. Complete blueprint. Also too, you need to be willing as the leader to set boundaries for your team, for your dog in this situation. Like for example, your dog doesn't know that they can't chase squirrels into the road. They don't know that. And you can't explain it to them in words. You can't say, yeah, you might get hit by this car, so don't do it. Can't do that. You have to show them why they can't do that. Physically, non-verbally, using real physical consequences. You have to show them why they cannot perform this behavior. You can't explain why to them. You have to show them why they can't. You see, and that is difficult, it's hard, it's not fun, but it's, in my opinion, your responsibility to do that. Your responsibility to set those boundaries for their behavior to help them be successful in the world. And sometimes as the leader, you have to do things that are uncomfortable for the benefit of your teammate or for the best interest of your team. So that's crystal clear communication. Very straightforward here. Get them off-leash trained, learn how to communicate with them in a way that they understand. Number 6, motivate and inspire. Great leaders are motivating to be around. When you're around them, it's almost just contagious. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in like the roo-rah type way. It's just through their actions, they're inspiring to be around. They're motivating to be around. They inspire you to work harder, to be your best, to do your best. And I think that's what a great leader is. And for your dog, don't forget to, like the action item here, I would say is I think sometimes when people go through the training process, they kind of lose sight of this. They kind of lose sight of what they're ultimately doing this for. They sort of like tighten up the reins a little bit and they forget to let go. They forget just to relax a little bit and to have fun along the way. You know, it's serious, yes, but don't take it too seriously, all right? And the action item here is have fun. Enjoy the process. Like it's fun. Like when you go through the training process with your dog and you commit to it for like the next 6 months, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have times when you're super frustrated and you're super angry and you're disappointed and you're upset and you feel like quitting. And you're also gonna have days when you're exhilarated and you're happy and you're excited and you're like super optimistic and you're proud. And that's dog training. That's what it is. And enjoy that process. It's fun because once it's over, you're just gonna be living this vision. You're gonna be out in the world doing things, and you'll look back on the training journey so fondly. Even the hard times, especially all the things that your dog did that really made you mad and all the mistakes that you made as their handler, you're gonna look back on that differently in hindsight. You're gonna smile in those moments. And so if you're gonna smile in those moments in the future, why not smile at them now? Why not find the humor in it now? Why not enjoy the process now? And I think that's just something to keep top of mind, especially when you're going through the difficult moments of the training as well. So that's number 6, motivate and inspire. And leadership principle number 7 is it 2 M's or 1? Commitment to learning. Great leaders are lifelong learners. They are always looking for feedback. They're always looking for ways to improve. They're always looking to learn. And a great leader isn't afraid to change what they're doing. Like if they're presented with evidence for why they should be doing something differently, and it makes sense, they'll do it. Because their objective is to become the best leaders they can be. It's not to appear smart. It's not to look like they know everything and they know what they're doing. That's not their goal. And so they're willing to change like that. And I think this is something I see amongst all of the best clients I've ever worked with, the best dog owners, is like after they complete the training and they learned a ton, like they learned a ton about themselves, about their dogs, about training. And after that, they continue doing stuff. Like they continue learning how to teach new tricks. Maybe they get into some other dog sport or something, and they continue just because they like it. They like learning. There's always something they can learn. There's something they can do better. There's something they can improve, and they're just expanding their knowledge at that point. And I think that's a characteristic of great leaders. And so for here, I'd say really the action item is on one, like you could say never stop learning, but I think a more practical action item for you guys is invest in your education. Invest in your education with your money, with your time, with your effort. Invest in it. See it as a learning experience, right? I think a lot of people I see sometimes in our comments, they ask me like, Miles, you seem really young. How do you know all this stuff? It's because of this. It's because of this. It's not because I'm super talented and just gifted and I just know all this stuff and I'm super smart. It's not like that at all. It's because of this. The only reason I have what's in here is because of this. I was willing to invest and learn from other people who came before me. And that's what speeds up the progress. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't know what I know today without Haz at Shield Canine, without Larry Crone, without Ivan Balabanov. I wouldn't be close to where I am now without that. And so many other traders as well. Like that's, I think like a lot of people miss that sometimes. It's like the person who's willing and able to invest in their education moves decades faster by comparison to the person who doesn't. The person who doesn't tries to figure out all of these things on their own. It would take me a lifetime to figure out what I know now. And I wouldn't even, I could spend my whole life just training dogs on my own, trying to learn as much as I can. I wouldn't be close to knowing what I know now because I took the lessons and the experience of those who came before me, and I applied that to my own. And they likely would say they did the same thing, and the same thing, and the same thing. And that's life, isn't it? It's like every generation learning from the skills and the lessons of the previous generation and continually making progress. And the ultimate contribution, at least in my opinion, would be to contribute something to that human pool of knowledge that in some way, big or small, helps the next generation after you. That's learning, that's life, at least how I see it. And so don't be afraid to invest in your education. You move through life so much faster when you're able to do it. And don't stop learning too. It's fun, like at least in my experience, this is Miles' personal philosophy. That's at least my meaning of life as I currently understand it, is just to learn as much as you possibly can and then to pass along that knowledge to those who come after you and to others around you. That's it. All right, so those are my 7 leadership principles. If you have anything that you want to add to this list, drop it in the comments down below. I want to see it because I'll definitely be changing this list over time. And so if you have anything you want to add, drop it in the comments down below and I'll be reading through them. So I hope this video helps you become a better leader with your dog, and I'll see you in the next video.